A couple things to start. One, kind of addressing the decision I made yesterday, kind of after watching the season progress over 9 games. I just reached a point that I believed a change was needed in our leadership on the defensive side. I got a bunch of respect for Tim Tibesar as a coach and as a person. Just unfortunate that we're not seeing the improvement needed for us to achieve the goals we want in this football team in this season. I have great confidence in Coach Bray and really that defensive staff. And I believe this decision will provide a new energy, a spark to our defense that I believe is needed. Making personnel changes is not easy. And it's something I don't take lightly. But ultimately, I believe this is the right decision for our football team at this time. Speaking of the game against Colorado, some missed opportunities early in that game that I think was a difference in ways. We had the opportunities in the past game that were not there, that we didn't execute. I was pleased at the end of the half how the offense went down and got a field goal as time expired. Actually was really fired up for Everett the way he ended regulation with a historic kick. But we didn't have enough opportunities, stops, enough points. And at the end of the day, we got ourselves beat. And so we got to go back to work. Got another great opportunity this weekend back at home. Really excited to get back at home. Student section, our crowd. We've played well at home, and we're going to need to do it again against a program that I've got a ton of respect for, a head coach I got a ton of respect for, and I know they'll bring a real challenge. Questions?
How long have you been considering a move on?
Yeah, I don't have a timetable on that. I know I was really thorough evaluating, looking into things, but I don't have an exact timetable.
Well, I'm just wondering, did it happen after? Did you start thinking about it after the game, or has it been something in the back of your mind?
Well, I think you're always evaluating throughout, and again, I go back to watching the last half of the season and the lack of progress that's been in my mind.
Have you noticed that Tim was starting to lose some of the players?
No, I don't think that. I think those guys respected him and believed.
Was there anything specifically you were disappointed with on that side of the ball?
Not any specifics. Again, ultimately, I just felt like we needed a change at this time.
And what did you see? What do you see from Trent that made you decide to go with him as the interim?
I think that he's been around a lot of good football on the defensive side. I do think he has a passion for this game. I look at his particular position group, and he's going to need help from a defensive staff that's ready to help him.
Is this a 3-week or 3-game audition for him in a sense?
He's the interim defensive coordinator, and then we'll get to the permanent one when the time's right.
What are you going to be looking at for the next defensive coordinator? What kind of criteria, what kind of attributes are you looking for in that next person? Not there to tell you exactly. The complete focus is really on Stanford. We've had some real success, I believe, in the coaching staff we've got here, and so we will succeed again when that time comes on our next hire. One other question. Changing topics to quarterback play, what is your philosophy? Chance has done some really good things, and he's also struggled a little bit as of late. What's your philosophy in giving another quarterback a chance, or do you stick with the guy you have? Where?
It's not an easy one. Yeah, there's a balance there because you're right. Chance has done some really good things. He missed a couple of throws, and it's never completely on the quarterback. I think the change we made earlier this season was ultimately just about a spark. We weren't progressing well. I think offensively, body of work, we've been able to score some points, and he's been a huge part of that. But each week can be new, and as you look at things, but we do have confidence in Chance and this offense to score points.
How involved are you on the defensive side of the ball?
I mean, I'm around. I'm not calling plays on defense or anything. I'll give my perspective from an offensive end because that's my background.
How did the players react?
Each guy's going to be a little bit different, and you'd have to totally ask them. I do think they got a belief in Trent, but I go back to they had some respect, or a lot of respect for Tibbs, so you might have to ask them.
What did you feel made this coaching change necessary now as opposed to maybe at the end of the season?
I think that, again, I go back to the progress of this team and what we got in front of us. Felt like at this moment, this was a change that gives us a great opportunity to improve.
And how would you describe Trent Bray's coaching and leadership styles?
I think he's passionate. I think he's a truth teller. He's passionate about the game, his players, being competitive, and I think it shows in the position group he's been coaching.
Yeah, how have you seen him connect with the players that he coaches?
He's done a good job. I mean, I think he connects more outside of just his room, which we ask of all our coaches to connect more than just their position group. And so I know he's earned the assistant head coaching title as his time here because of some of the connection he has with majority of the team.
He came out of Saturday with probably his hard hit with injuries as I've seen this season. Bradford,
We'll see how he responds throughout the week. He tries to make a great play on the sideline there, and kind of a couple of spots, his hip, his neck, a little sore, but we'll see in the week.
Lola Hea, I saw him walk off in a boot.
Ankle, yep. We'll see how it responds toward the end of the week. Not ready to call him out yet.
And Levin, good.
Same thing with his ankle, re-injured the same spot. Wasn't able to finish. He got out pretty quick. I would describe him as doubtful.
Any chance of Hodgins in the last 3 weeks of the season?
Not currently, no.
Coach, the loss was the first time you guys have lost back-to-back games this season. You've talked a lot about the leadership and the depth on this team and just the mentality going forward. What has the team's reaction been responding to Saturday's loss and going forward?
Yeah, I think there's some real disappointment immediately after the game. I do think we've got leadership that knows that they got to play better to win. We got to coach better to win, and we're anxious about the opportunity this Saturday to get back home and do it. We got to put a great week in. This opponent again. They got some good coaches and players over there. So I know our guys are fired up to get an opportunity to play better this Saturday.
Is there any one player you can pinpoint maybe that has stood out this season in the locker room? I mean, you have a lot of leaders, have a lot of seniors, but maybe one guy that surprised you or that the team's really rallied around and responded to?
Yeah, I think we got more than just one that they really rally around. I look at Trevon Bradford and his play and his voice. Avery Roberts, not just in his play, but the way he goes to work. But we've got multiple guys. Jaden Grant continuing to be a voice of this team. Anjay continuing to be a voice of this team. So I can't just say one.
So you like being aggressive on offense, going forward on fourth down and 2-point conversions. In that first possession of overtime, you guys score the touchdown. You could go for 2 for the win, but you opted for the extra point instead to tie and go to another overtime. What was the thought process?
There was a consideration there to do it at that moment. Did feel like we used a couple of calls right before we scored the touchdown that were similar 2-point plays. At the same time, felt fortunate to be into overtime and to extend it. I have confidence in our red zone offense. Didn't work out that way, but all of that thought process led me to kicking it.
And then you had Chance throw a season-high 38 passes in this game. Was that always the plan going in to air it out a little bit? Because it seemed like the chances were there if he had them.
He had some chances that we missed in our kind of normal play. I do think the attempts were a little bit up the way into the half in the 2-minute drive. Got a couple more attempts to get the total up at halftime. And really at the same thing at the end of the game, throwing the ball back-to-back because we're down with 2 minutes.
Defensively now with Coach Bray taking over, it's a week. I mean, you have like 5 days to get ready. Big changes, or just kind of some little tweaks?
Right. I'm not going to give away our game plan, but at the same time, yeah, you're right on it. 5 days, dramatic schematic changes, probably not going to be recognized. But I'm hoping that he'll put in his personality into the defense.
Talked about this a little bit after Saturday's game with the slow starts. You guys were really good in the first 4 games of the season. I think you outscored 40 men in the first quarter. The last 5 has been 41-7 the other way. I mean, that's a pretty dramatic.
Yep.
What's going on with the early part of that game?
Well, obviously, it's not a simple answer because if I had it, we'd have adjusted. I do think there's something to, finding out early in games. You got enough tape out there, people game plan us, and finding out how they're going to approach that. There has been a few more adjustments in the second quarter and halftime. Felt like the last few games than the early games.
Was that some of the thinking
Yeah, stage was set to create a one-on-one down the field, and, yeah, we overthrew it.
The holding penalty Saturday, they were, they counted up, what did you see, were they really holding though? Did you see-
Yeah, there was some holding. There was, and some of that, I don't want to get too technical on you, but their defensive line did a good job getting vertical, okay? And we run wide zone, outside zone. Well, with that angle, we got to be better with our hands, with them pushing up the field and us not completely reaching them like we had done previously. We ran into a couple of times. We got to be better with our hands.
In 2019, you guys were great in road games. This year, you haven't been as much. I know you talked a lot about the leadership of this team being good. What is it about is it just the opponent you're playing this year?
We'd definitely rather play at home. We love playing at home. I do think each team's new, different. Opponents are different over a 2-year span. Crowd's back, but I don't have a pinpoint reason why we so much success 2 years ago.
Yeah, well, I remember in 2019, it was almost like you said, sort of the circle the wagons mentality the team had. Is that maybe a little bit lacking for this team on the going road?
I think that was definitely a mantra, uniqueness about 2019. But I do feel great on Friday nights when we got that 74 guys in that team meeting Friday night, and these guys are ready to go to battle together.